Hello and welcome to Art with Dianne. Today the art lesson is a clay lesson and it's about using dowels, wooden dowels, to make a cylinder form with clay, which you can use to make a mug, for instance. Now most of the time I make mugs on my pottery wheel, but there's times in hand building class that you want to know how to make a cylinder without getting on the wheel or without coiling the pot. So that's what this lesson is about. So I got some of these cut at Home Depot, and you may already have some small rolling pins, and you can even use various size of cardboard tubes as long as they're real sturdy and not like paper towel tubes. All right, so that's what we're going to do. The first thing you want to do is start out with a chunk of clay, and you're going to make it into a cylinder shape. Now by that I mean we all have cylinder shapes in our kitchen cabinets, so just think of a can of soup as a cylinder. All right, so I've got a chunk of clay. I'm going to get rid of the points first. Alright, so I'm just tapping the points, and then I will start rolling it out sideways and getting this shape. So that's the first thing we're going to do, and this is so magical and unusual. Not many potters even know about this. Alright, so I've got somewhat of a sphere, so now I'm going to roll it out. And I'm going to keep my eye on it, and I'm going to flatten it a little bit on the ends. Roll it out some more. As you do that, it'll start sinking in right here, but you don't want it to allow it to do that. So you be the boss. Smooth that in. Keep your eye on that, because if it caves in, it's not going to work. All right, continue. Tap. Tap it some more, keep rolling it, and keeping your eye on the bottom. All right, so we're off to a good start. You're going to be amazed in just a few moments of the transformation. Lightly tap it. All right, keep going. It looks a whole lot different already from what it did when I got it out of the bag. All right, keep that in mind. You want to keep referring back to that shape so you don't lose sight of your goal here. All right, keep going. So far, so good. I just about have it tall enough. All right. Now the thing is, if this ends up being 5 inches tall, then that means when you get through with it, it will be 5 inches tall. If you want something 7 inches tall, then keep rolling it until it's 7 inches tall. All right, I just about have a very nice cylinder. All right, check it out. It's smooth on top, smooth on top. It's not caving in, and it's a cylinder form. All right, so the next thing you're going to do is get your smallest dowel, which will be this one. It's a little thicker than a pencil. And start right here in the center and push it all the way down to the table. Pick it up and push it through. All right, push it all the way to the center like this. All right, now roll it on a table that has either a big sheet of cardboard on it or a cloth but not on a slick surface or a stick. Now notice it's getting wider and smoother. And you gotta keep your eye on both sides because that hole is bigger than this hole. So that means I'll apply a little more pressure over here to get them equal. Okay, that almost did it right there. All right, and it starts to flop a little bit, but that's normal. That's not gonna hurt it one bit. And it's just about time for me to switch dowels. A little bit more. I've got to make sure they're matching. All right. Let's see if we can get the next size dowel in there. That would be this size. Okay. Slide it down here to the middle. And this is a lesson that one of my many lessons that I teach in my hand building class at USCL, because the students have to make a dowel mug and then they turn it into something themed. It can be an animal or anything. Then they are creative. All right, so far I've opened it up this far. All right, now I think I can switch dowels again. Always go up a size. So now I'm going up to this one. See, it's a little bit thicker than the last one. Now you don't want your mug to be that thick because it would create a problem when you put your lips on the side and you would be wasting clay. So you keep going, looking at the thickness, looking at both sides, staying focused until you get about the right thickness. That might be about right. Not bad. Okay, so now it's evenly thick. All right, doesn't have a bottom. That's when you make a bottom and you round it out a little more. So I'll show you about rounding it out. There's a trick to that too that you do with a flower pot. Okay, round it out and make a slab. Let's see, I've got several different shapes here. I think I'll use this one. All right, so I'm going to make a slab. I'll start it off as a ball. Press it down, flip it. Flip it some more, use the rolling pin to get it about this level of thinness. Smooth it out. This is pretty wet and sticky. All right. Get the needle tool and cut out your shape for your bottom. All right, let's see how that's going to work. All right, it's a little bit wider, which is good. Let's go ahead and scratch it. Remember, when you add clay to clay, you scratch, score, slip. The scratches act like Velcro. The slip acts like glue. That way you're doubly ensured that it's going to stay together. All right, don't forget to scratch. I think I'll just use this size. Scratch the bottom of this too. All right, get this side round out as best as possible. Okay, I'm glad I scratched it nice and widely, because I'm going to cut some of that off. Okay, now very gently come in here. Cut some of that off. Okay, now let's join it together. Join it together. And if I was not making a video, I would take my time and make my craftsmanship look as best as possible. All right, turn it back over. All right, now let's make it rounder by, I keep a few of these flower pots in my studio. They're very porous. They work much better than using something plastic, which might stick. And I put it in here and press, kind of pat that around it. Pull it out. And it's perfectly round. I don't know if you can tell, but that's perfectly round now, just because of this. And see, you can get various thicknesses. All right, then take a wet sponge and work on the lip. It's very important. You don't want the lip to be like it was cut off. You want it to have some curved edges and be nicely formed, so when the lips are touching it, it feels comfortable in your mouth when you're drinking your coffee or hot chocolate. All right. Now you can let that set up and become leather hard, and then probably the next day you'll be ready to add a handle. I think I have a handle right here that I made last night. Since you can add a handle, scratch and slit, add a handle, just smooth it, and you can turn it into something more artsy like this one. I was looking through my gift shop and trying to find some of that I had done with a dowel, and I only found one. But this is one I did with a dowel, and it has an elephant handle. It has food safe glaze on the inside, but it's white crackle raku on the outside. So I just did something kind of artsy, cute with it, and also some other things you can do with dowel technique is, instead of adding the bottom to it, you can pinch it, which I'm going to do right now. Just pretend the bottom's not there. You can pinch it like this and bring the arms up, add little hands, head right here, and this is for a little candle, voltage candle to sit in, and it's just a cute little thing that can be made from a dowel technique. All right, so I think this is everything that I need to tell you about making a dowel technique pot, and you can get them but just remember this: however high you make the clump of cylinder, that will be your height. It'll never get higher, taller. It'll always get wider when you're using the dowels. So that's a good thing to know. And you'll just have a nice cylinder. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for the next art show coming soon.